welcome back to my channel. My name is MC Linda. Still on the series ASUU in Nigeria. To better understand this episode, I recommend you watch the previous video. With me on the show are lecturers from different universities in Nigeria. We have Dr. Ray, Mr. Stan, and Mr. Ima. The Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASUU, was formed to cater for the interests of all university staff in federal and state universities in Nigeria. The union has embarked on several strike or industrial actions since the democracy in 1999, with an accumulation of about 5 years. The question for this episode is, ASUU strike is unnecessary, true or false? Let's discuss. Dr. Ray, please can you address the question, ASUU strike is unnecessary, true or false? Thank you.
Okay, thank you for having me. When we talk about ASUU strike, for Nigeria, it's necessary. But in a sane society, ASUU strike would be unnecessary. In order to make the government answerable to their responsibilities, it is necessary to go on strike.
Can you educate us on why ASUU must go on strike in Nigeria? Basically, what are the instigating causes of ASUU strike in Nigeria?
The causes of this current strike, dated 2009, ASUU and federal government reached an agreement. In that agreement, so many things were discussed. The issue of salary increase, also the issue of university revitalization. So there is an agreement which is like a memorandum of understanding between the federal government and ASUU that every year, such amount up to 200 billion should be pumped into Nigerian tertiary institutions in order to revamp the education sector to make it to meet up to global standard. But over time, federal government have failed to keep their own part of the bargain and be giving excuses. So that is the reason why the issue of the end academic allowance, the issue of salaries, because in that agreement, it was stipulated that every 3 years, there will be a salary review based on the economic situation of the country at that point. But I can tell you that from 2009 to date, there have not been any salary review. So what the professor is earning in 2009 is what the professor is still earning in 2022. And the issue of the IPPIS, because of the peculiarities in the academic system, IPPIS cannot meet up the challenges of university function. So that is why ASUU is actually kicking against the IPPIS. And that's why we developed the UTAS, because UTAS can actually meet the demands of the lecturers.
Following the prevalence of ASUU strike in Nigeria since the democracy in 1999 till date, as presented in the first episode of the series, ASUU strike is more or less a seasonal event. Please, why?
Well, the issue of the ASUU strike being the recurrent issue is because of the fact that our government lacks continuity. So whenever you agree with this current government, the next government will come in and tell you that they are not part of that agreement. And because if they are not part of that agreement, they will tell you they cannot fulfill the agreement that is met by the previous government. So that is why you keep saying this thing until you set up a policy for the challenges of ASUU. There should be a law established guiding universities. For example, how much should go into universities every year? They should have a budget for universities. So that whenever they are designing the budget, they will know that they will have to design the budget for universities. But failure to do this, I'm sorry to say this, the strike will be a recurrent issue. And to set out plans in order to address this issue so that it will not be an executive decision every year. It will be a decision that has been set aside governing university system. So that we can have, for example, an assistant lecturer earns up to 118,000 or 120,000 a month. Now, out of this money, you're expected to publish with the money. And the university will tell you that you have to publish in a high impact factor journal. I can tell you, if you want to publish in SCBA, you spend nothing less than $1,000 to publish in SCBA. Now, what is the per annum salary of a lecturer that the lecturer want to publish in SCBA? And they will tell you that if you don't publish, you perish. So as a lecturer, you must publish. Now, in the same society, the money you're using for your project is actually provided by the institution. You don't buy chemicals with your money. You don't do research with your money. Your job is to be in the lab, write whatever you want as your reagents for your research. After doing the lab work, you write your manuscript. After writing your manuscript, you submit to the journal that university recognizes. The journal body will give you a voucher or maybe an invoice. You submit the invoice to the institution will pay for the publication. But here it is not like that. If you write to university tell you that they don't have money. And you can't blame them because there is no fund provided for such things. So that is why the strike will be a recurrent issue until federal government is ready to address the issue once and for all and make it the law, so that not that every government that comes in will expect a different thing, will keep on bargaining. Thank you very much.
Mr. Stan, what's your view on the subject matter?
In addition to what Dr. have said, is apart from the fact that the government, they don't always honor agreement, the current government, especially this administration, they are full of deceit, and because of that, there is lack of trust on the part of government, in the sense that you have not been able to convince the public that you are actually doing something, whereas you are talking about you will honor an agreement. For instance, just a few days ago, Dr. Chris Ngige, the Minister of Labour and Employment, he came out to the public after their Federal Executive Council meeting and told the media that they are actually doing a lot of things to make sure that the ASUU strike is called off this week, and that they have already scheduled a meeting with ASUU on Thursday, being 23rd of June. Only for us to hear from our president that nothing like that has been done. No schedule of meeting, no official letter from them convening a meeting. Now, how can you come to the public to tell the public that you have convened a meeting with ASUU's executive, but in the actual sense, nothing like that has been done? So this is the problem we have. This is why ASUU cannot trust the government. And that is why part of the things ASUU is struggling for now is not just to sign an agreement, but to implement. Because ASUU, they don't like the strike going on. We are all trying to see a way that it will not continue to reoccur. So, and that is why in this particular struggle, what ASUU is hammering on is implementation, because on several occasions, we have signed that agreement and at the end, nothing is implemented. So apart from the issue of government not meeting up, the issue of trust is another problem that will make this strike to continue to reoccur. Thank you.
Mr. Ima, what's your view on the subject matter?
Thank you very much. I would say it's trust, because in a country where there is sanity, education is supposed to be priority. But when people start bringing corruption into educational system, let's take for example, most of the people that are in charge or in power, most of them, their children are not in Nigeria schooling, their children are abroad schooling, because they already know the mess of educational system in Nigeria and they won't like their children to be here. I think it's the issue of trust, the issue of putting the wrong people in the right place. Because if you put someone that doesn't have the right educational background, if he goes there, he's going to mess up everything. Because ASUU strike in Nigeria is like a pattern. I think there's no one in Nigeria that have not witnessed ASUU strike, because I also witnessed ASUU strike like twice. So it's like a repeating pattern, and we all see all this pattern occurring every time. And since that time, what have we been doing? Imagine an agreement that was made since 2009. 2009 till now is about 13 years. During the administration of Umaro Musa Yar'Adua. Since that time, nothing is being done about it. So it's trust. I feel somehow when people say, oh, ASUU, they are a set of wicked people. We can't be in a place where you have in a classroom, 2,000 students are learning in one classroom with one lecturer. It's not done. My school here, we have each class. The highest you can see in a class is 35 students for one professor. You can't have a system where there is no machine, there is no lab, the lab is not well equipped, and you want people to function well as useful members of the society. That is why today, most of our graduates, they can't even write a curriculum vitae. Most of them cannot even write a constructive letter for job opportunity. And this is the dividends that have been caused in the past. Our government is not doing anything to change this situation. So I believe it's a good thing in Nigeria for ASUU to maintain their stand until everything is put in check, not for us, but for our children and generation coming behind us. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So you don't miss out on this series in any of the episodes that will be published. Do well to like, share, and subscribe. Also, click on the notification bell so you get notified once any episode is published. Thank you. Thank you so much. Watch out for our next video.
Show them how we do it.